Welcome back to another episode of Gamebook Collector. In today's episode we're going to do something a little different, and that is have a look at the Gamebook covers from the first 10 Fighting Fantasy series Gamebooks. So we're going to have a look at the covers, and I'm going to pick my top 3 from 3 to number 1 and see which ones are my most favourite. This is purely, I must stress, purely on the cover art, nothing to do with the book themselves or how good the book is or anything like that at all. It's purely on the artist's illustration on the front covers. Which one I think is the best is my opinion. You might not agree with it, but it's only my opinion on it and which one stands or which ones stand out for me. Okay, we're going to look at the covers just now, and we'll have a wee look and see which ones are in the top 10. So as you can see, I have a bundle of them here. So I'm going to start with number 1. So as I said, I'm going to start with number 1. As you can see, I'm again, they weren't in order, which is I'll have to give them a wee reshuffle here. So number 1 is a one game book that started it all. The original game book by Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone is called The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. The cover illustration is by Peter Andrew Jones. This game book is from 1983, just to check. In fact, 1982. So as you can see, front cover is a dragon and the warlocks below it, and in the middle of the page is the title, The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. So that's number 1, the Gamebook series. We'll just put that aside. Number 2, we'll get this in order. Number 2 is the Citadel of Chaos, and we have this one here, which is rather different, rather strange looking cover. We've got a monster down the right hand side and a citadel in the background, and I've always found this one quite appealing. There's not a lot of detail in it, but it's something about it, the originality of it. I think this cover was published before the cover I'm just going to show you next. So this is Gamebook 2 in the series, Steve Jackson's The Citadel of Chaos. I'm just going to check the date. It was published and it was 1983 and 1984. So this one's 1984 edition. As I said, you've got the kind of pink-red background, you've got a creature on the right-hand side down the bottom and the citadel in the background, and there's bats coming out of the citadel. Yep, but it's a bit different, as I said, and it was the author's name obviously. Cover illustration by Emmanuel. That is it, Emmanuel. I'm not sure if he's done any more covers. It doesn't spring to mind he's actually done any more artwork for Fighting Fantasy, but that's the artist's name. Okay, put this one aside and we'll have a look at the other cover from the Citadel of Chaos, and you can see in the background the citadel again is a deep red background, and I would assume the front is a banshee and a rhinoceros creature standing in a guardian outfit, a sentinel's outfit in the background. This one's pretty creepy looking. This one's more detailed than the other cover by Emmanuel. This one's done by Ian Miller. And if we look inside the book, the publishing date in this one is 1985, so this one's a bit older. So they've republished this one with a different cover and they went with a different artist. I must admit I do actually prefer this cover than the other one, but the other one's a bit different. It stands out a bit more because it's I think the previous one's more in line with maybe some of today's artwork rather than 1983, but or 82 in fact. Anyhow, moving on, we have the infamous, the most famous Forest of Doom cover. As you can see, it's this orange star, number 3 down the bottom there, by Ian Livingstone. What can I say about this? It's fantastic. You've got the shape changer in the forest, and we all know who this is by. It's by Ian McCaig, one of the most prolific and detailed artists of Fighting Fantasy, who I believe went on to work for Lucasfilm or Industrial Light and Magic as an artist, I think. I might be wrong there, but I do believe he went to pastures new. It's a fantastic cover. So that's the Orange Star number 3, and then we have again, it's the same cover. It is the green Puffin strip along the top. Again, it's nothing to do with the green Puffin along the top stripe or the number 3. It's purely an artwork of the cover, which is basically the same cover. Although I must admit, I do prefer, without a shadow of a doubt, this shape changer. It's creepy as hell. It's iconic for Fighting Fantasy. Fantastic cover. Right, next one, Starship Traveller, game book number 4 in the series, and we have a robot in the background, and we have two gladiator guards fighting the robot, or 2 space soldiers fighting this robot here, and well, actually 3, one's lying on the ground. Look a bit like American football players. Yeah, it's quite, I don't mind this cover at all. It's a bit of action happening in the cover here. Kind of pastel blue, a bit of red, pink in the background, and they've got like a quarter moon. So this is Steve Jackson's Starship Traveller. The cover was by Peter Andrew Jones. The publication of book date again was 1983. So it's number 4 in the series, in the rundown of the best illustrated cover. This one is by Peter Andrew Jones, and that's Starship Traveller. Okay, number 5, we're moving on now. Number 5 is Ian Livingstone's City of Thieves. What a fantastic cover this is. You've got Zan Barbone there in the forefront, and there's a building in the city, a house in the city behind him. Very detailed cover, fantastic. Zan Barbone, a skeleton with horn bones coming out his head, and a scythe. This would fit quite easily in like a horror series like Creepshow or something. Yeah, stands out a mile. Very inviting, very inviting. Again, it's by who else but Ian McCaig. So we'll look at the publication date of this, and the date is, again, it's 1984. So we have it, number 5 in the series, City of Thieves by Ian Livingstone, Zan Barbone in the forefront by Ian McCaig. So moving on, you can see I've organised the game books again in a bit of disarray in the piles, so they're now in order. We have number 6 in the series, Ian Livingstone's Death Trap Dungeon. So the front cover is Blood Beast, again by Ian McCaig. It's sitting in a bubbling pit of bubbling slime. Again, this picture's very inviting, quite terrifying in fact, and it would sit well in a recent horror movie poster of any kind, of your choice. Yeah, pretty impressive, again by Ian McCaig. Okay, number 7 here is Island of the Lizard King by Ian Livingstone. Game book 7, as I said. So you've got the Lizard King in the background, and or it might be one of the Lizard King's warriors. I'm going for the Lizard King, and he's on top of a panther, and he's got his sword in a murky, cloudy background. This one is done by, again, Ian McCaig, who obviously had the contract here for these books. He's a go-to fellow, obviously. If you look at the publication date of this one is 1984. So it is, yep, published in 1984. And that's Island of the Lizard King by Ian Livingstone and artwork by Ian McCaig. Moving on, game book number 8 is Scorpion Swamp. It's not bad, this one. You've got a large scorpion creature coming out the swamp, yellow background. It's got big fangs and it's dripping saliva from its bottom teeth, huge claws on it. So this one's done by Duncan Smith. We've got a wee change of an artist now, not Ian McCaig but Duncan Smith for game book number 8. And if we look at the publication date for this one, this particular game book Its publication date is 1984. It's not as detailed as Ian McCaig's artwork. It stands out a bit. You've got the main creature on the background, and looks pretty terrifying, but there is a slight difference in quality, I'm afraid. It's more cartoonish. So that's number 8. Steve Jackson and Livingstone present this time, so let's have a look who's wrote this one. Is it Steve Jackson's actually wrote this one? Yep, Steve Jackson. That's the Scorpion Swamp. Right, number 9. Moving on again. Number 9 in the Fighting Fantasy series of the Gamebook artwork covers, we have Caverns of the Snow Witch by Ian Livingstone. I haven't read this one. I'm going to be there. I haven't read this one. You've got a kind of orc in the forefront, and you've got maybe the Snow Witch or somebody that's like in one of the glass ball looking at the orc. So you're in a cavern or ice cave. The orc's looking if it's kind of squealing, roaring, very angry. Yeah, it's not a bad cover. Look at the back of the book and we'll see who it's by, and it's by Les Edwards. This cover's by Les Edwards. So having a look inside, the publication date for this one again is 1984. There's a heck of a lot of game books in 84 here. Was it written by Ian Livingstone? Illustrated by Gary Ward and Edward Crosby. Ian Livingstone, so it looks like it's Ian Livingstone wrote this one as well. So it's Caverns of the Snow Witch. Yeah, it's not a bad cover. The writing style of the title, yeah, it's not too bad. Can't really elaborate too much on that, but yeah, okay. Moving on. Game book number 9 is Caverns of the Snow Witch. Number 10. One of the most favourite game books, and one of the most hardest ones of all time by Fighting Fantasy, is Steve Jackson's House of Hell. Yeah, it's pretty scary. Look at that. You've got demons in the front, you've got a House of Hell background, you've got trees, gnarling, horror trees with faces on them. Yeah, that's very inviting, very... Yeah, I would sit in a poster for a horror film, no problem at all. So going around the back, and Ian Miller this time. Ian Miller's artist. It's not unlike Ian McCaig's artwork, but again, fantastic artwork by Ian Miller. And let's have a wee look at the publication date of this one. Why not? 84, but this one was printed in 1985. So this House of Hell was 1985. Put us back up here, and we have another House of Hell, and it's the one with the dragon cover, the dragon title, and it's more... The artwork's the same, it's just I've got these in my collection and I'm just having to show the comparison between the same game books. This one's zoomed in, or cropped in. You have the creature demon there on the left hand side and more less of the background there. The dragon cover, which one do you prefer? Oh, I think I prefer this one, without a doubt. So I've picked my top 3 Fighting Fantasy Gamebook covers from the first 10 books, and we're going to do it from 3rd place down to 1st place. So in 3rd place, I'm going to give it to House of Hell. 3rd position is House of Hell by Steve Jackson, and it's illustrated by Ian Miller. As I said, this cover's fantastic. It's very creepy, very atmospheric. There's demons on it, there's a house from hell in the background. Very detailed, very inviting. Yeah, the cover's one of the ones, if it was sitting on the shelf, I would definitely be interested in picking this one up. So that's my 3rd choice preference, House of Hell by Ian Miller. So in 2nd place, I'm going to award this to none other than the man himself, Ian McCaig, and the book is City of Thieves. by Ian Livingstone. This is a fantastic cover. Zan Barbone in the front of the book with his scythe, and the city in the background. You've got, as I said, a spear with a head on it, a shrunken head. Yep, what a cover! It's fantastic, very iconic, steep in atmosphere. Yep, this one's by Ian McCaig, and it's City of Thieves, which is number 2 in my countdown. So in first place, it goes to, you probably guessed this one, it's Ian McCaig again, and this book cover's very iconic, and it's none other than The Forest of Doom. The Forest of Doom, number 1, wins the first top 10 game book fighting fantasy artwork covers. It's amazing. You get a shapeshifter or shape changer in the front cover, and a forest with a cloak on, in rags. It's the original one with the orange star down the right hand side. It's iconic. This character's in many t-shirts relating to Fighting Fantasy, many posters. Yeah, it's a shape changer from the Forest of Doom. So third place, House of Hell. Second place, City of Thieves. And number 1, the winner, is Forest of Doom by Ian McCaig. So there you have it, my top 3 Fighting Fantasy Gamebook covers from the first 10 books. In third place, House of Hell. Second place, the City of Thieves. And in top spot, the Forest of Doom. And for a bit of fun, if I was to choose a runner-up from the series of the first 10 books, then it would probably be closely tied to the House of Hell. And in fourth place, it would probably be this one here, and it's The Citadel of Chaos by Ian Miller. And you can see this book here. It's a fantastic cover, as I described earlier. Red background, Banshee in the foreground, and the Citadel in the background as well, with a rhinoceros sentry guard. Very atmospheric, very detailed, and it's got lots of similarities to the House of Hell, which you can see here is demons, and there's the House of Hell in the background. And you could probably place the Banshee in the cover of the House of Hell, and it would fit nicely, and also vice versa, with the demons would also fit nicely in the cover of the Citadel of Chaos. The artwork's very similar, but I do think the House of Hell is more inviting, more atmospheric, and obviously more terrifying, and that's why it just edges the third spot, and the Citadel of Chaos is in fourth position. So that's just a bit of fun there. Obviously it's only 3 books I'm going for, and that's them there. So thanks again for watching this episode of Gamebook Collector. As I said, it's a bit of fun. The next episode, hopefully we'll run down from Gamebooks number 11 to number 20, the next top 10. And thanks again for watching, and please consider subscribing to the channel and also giving this video a thumbs up. Until the next episode,